Hey guys, welcome back to the Mount Rushmore series of Fat Kid Certified Sports Entertainment. It's been a little while since I've actually done one of these. Due to what happened, where we had a file get corrupted and lost the entire file. Not gonna lie to you guys, that can really kill somebody's motivation, because you record a video and it looks really good whenever you record it, and then it dies a slow and miserable death. But we were able to at least get the computer file back that I have set up here so that I can redo this episode. So it is about the Baltimore Orioles and the Montreal Expos / Washington Nationals, two teams that I hold near and dear to my heart because I'm from the DC area. It is currently 1:10 a.m. on September 25th. Earlier tonight, the Washington Nationals clinched a playoff appearance for the 5th time in 8 years. Congratulations to those guys. One current national on my Mount Rushmore. We'll get to that. We're going to start on the other side of the city. We're going to go into Maryland. We're going to go across the bridge. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles first. Honorable mentions for the Baltimore Orioles: Mike Mussina, Rafael Palmeiro, Brady Anderson, Adam Jones, who just left and went to Arizona this past offseason, Manny Machado, who's now in San Diego, and Frank Robinson. Also, a guy who I hold near and dear to my heart, who may not be a solid pick that everyone loves, and that is Brian Roberts. I thought he was a great second baseman for them in the 2000s, so I always try to give Brian Roberts some love whenever I'm talking about the Baltimore Orioles. So now the Mount Rushmore for the Baltimore Orioles. I think the first guy is the easiest guy that you can put on this list, so let's just get him out of the way first. It is the guy who played in more games consecutively than anybody else in Major League Baseball. It is the... how else can I put him? Probably one of the greatest players to ever don a jersey. It is Cal Ripken Jr. Jr. in 21 seasons as a member of the Baltimore Orioles played in 3,001 games, had 3,184 hits, had 1,647 runs scored, 603 doubles. He had 44 triples, 431 long balls, 1,695 RBIs, hit 276, had an on-base percentage of .340, was a 2-time MVP, a 19-time All-Star, 2 Gold Gloves, 8 Silver Sluggers, and the Rookie of the Year award. When you think about DC, Maryland baseball, I think the name most synonymous with it is always going to be Cal Ripken. He's a guy that any kid growing up wanted to be. If you were a shortstop, you wanted to be Cal Ripken. Me, unfortunately, being left-handed, I was always being an outfielder or first baseman. So I was like, I kind of want to be Brady Anderson or Ken Griffey Jr. because of their really long, natural left-handed swings that I fell in love with. Something that Cody Bellinger has right now for the more common-day fan. So I think Ripken was the easiest choice here. I don't think there's anybody that ever will supplant Cal as the greatest Oriole of all time. Second up, Brooks Robinson. Brooks played 23 seasons as a member of the Baltimore Orioles, played in 2,896 career games as an Oriole, had 2,848 hits, had 1,232 runs scored, 482 doubles. He had 68 triples, 268 long balls, had 1,357 RBIs, hit 267 and had a 322 on base, 322 on base percentage. The font on this is terrible. He did win the MVP, had 4 top 5 finishes, is a 15-time All-Star, and had 16 Gold Gloves. Brooks was a steadfast third baseman. He's a guy that when you thought about third basemen in that time, that Brooks was one of the first names that always came to your mind. He was a great defensive third baseman, as you can tell by the 16 Gold Gloves. But the MVP award, he was very clutch for them in different parts of his run as a member of the Baltimore Orioles. Next up is a guy who, pitcher-wise, I don't think you could think about the Baltimore Orioles without mentioning him. And then when you think about what he's done in the broadcast booth for them, that's Jim Palmer. Palmer pitched for 19 seasons as a member of the Baltimore Orioles, finished with a career record of 268 and 152 and 521 career starts as an Oriole, had a 2.86 ERA, had 211 complete games, 53 of those being the shutout variety, threw 3,948 and 2/3 innings as a member of the Orioles, had 2,212 career strikeouts, and a 1.180 WHIP. He was a 6-time All-Star, won 3 Cy Young Awards, had 5 other top 5 finishes, and had 4 Gold Gloves. Just when you look at winning 3 Cy Young Awards, that's pretty damn impressive. Palmer was a key for them throughout his duration. He was the ace of that staff for a really long time. And when you can just pencil in that guy going every 5th day that's going to throw probably 7 or 8 innings and make this really easy for you, it makes the manager's job somewhat easier to know that you can just pencil that day away as a relief. So Palmer was a definite choice here. And the guy who is fourth on my list, and if I had to like rank them, he probably would end up being number 4 on my list, and that is Eddie Murray. Murray played 13 seasons as a member of the Orioles, played in 1,884 games, had 2,080 career hits as an Oriole, had 1,084 runs scored, 363 doubles. He had 25 triples, 343 career home runs, had 1,224 RBIs, hit 294 with a 370 on base percentage. He was a 7-time All-Star, won 3 Gold Gloves, and had 2 Silver Sluggers. Murray was really, really good. I felt like he was obvious, like based off of the only other guy that I really was fighting to put in this list was Mike Mussina, but unfortunately I felt like Mike Mussina will always be remembered for his time as a member of the Yankees, not necessarily as his time as a member of the Baltimore Orioles. So I kind of put Murray in over Mussina because of that. But I could see Mussina being in over Murray. I could see the argument. Again, this one was really hard on me because I got to watch a lot of these teams. But the Orioles and the Nationals, especially when the Nationals came from Montreal, there wasn't a lot for them to really support. So it was really weird. I remember that I bought a Washington Nationals Brad Wilkerson jersey. 2 days later, he got traded. I took it back and got a Ryan Church jersey instead, which I still have. So I'm super fan of that. Now we're going to go back into DC. We're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore of the Washington Nationals / Montreal Expos. And on this list, you will see that we have someone who's appearing on their second Mount Rushmore of the campaign. We'll start with that guy, actually. We're going to go talk about Vladimir Guerrero. Vladimir only played 8 seasons as a member of the Montreal Expos, but there were 8 eventful seasons. Played in 1,004 games as a member of the Expos, had 1,215 career hits, had 641 runs scored, had 226 career doubles, 34 triples, 234 home runs as a member of the Expos, 702 RBIs, hit 323, had a 390 on base percentage, was a 4-time All-Star, and a 3-time Silver Slugger Award winner. If there was somebody that was on the cusp of not being on this list, it probably is Vladimir. At least from my perspective, Vladdy was probably the last man in, and he may not be on this list very longer because of a couple guys that we'll mention in the honorable mentions at the end of this wrap-up. Next up is Tim Raines. Raines played 13 seasons as a member of the Montreal Expos, played in 1,452 career games, had 1,622 career hits, had 947 runs scored, 281 doubles, 82 triples, 96 long balls, had 556 RBIs, had 635 career stolen bases, hit 301, had 391 on base percentage, was a 7-time All-Star, and a 1-time Silver Slugger. I think the thing that a lot of people forget about Tim Raines is how great of a base stealer he was, because he was stealing bases at a time where Rickey Henderson was around, and Rickey Henderson really made it like, great, here's Rickey Henderson, he's going to walk in and steal second and third. So if you're not Rickey Henderson, you can't do that. And I think that's unfortunate because I feel like Tim Raines was a really, really good stolen base guy, so I feel like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, at least in the stolen base category. Next up is another former member of the Montreal Expos, and a guy who, when you think about the Expos, is a guy that this guy definitely fits that moniker, and that is Gary Carter. Carter played 12 seasons in Montreal, played in 1,503 career games, had 1,427 hits, had 707 runs scored, 274 doubles. He had 24 triples, hit 220 career home runs, had 823 RBIs, hit 269, had a 342 on base percentage, was a 7-time All-Star, had 3 Gold Gloves, and 3 Silver Sluggers. Carter was the key piece defensively for sure of those Montreal Expos teams as being the base, the catcher, the guy who worked with that staff. And I think Carter did a really, really good job as a member of the Expos. I think if you think about the Expo teams, like right as they were first coming in, Carter's definitely a guy that you think about when you discuss those Montreal teams. And last but certainly not least for the Expos / Nationals, Mount Rushmore, a guy who currently plays for the team, only played in 47 games so far this year. That is Ryan Zimmerman. Zimmerman was drafted by the Nationals at number 4 overall of the 2005 draft, and has been really the Nationals guy. He actually played in 20 games that year for the Nationals after being drafted number 4 overall. He finished second in the Rookie of the Year the following year. Zimmerman has played 15 seasons in Washington, played in 1,684 games, had 1,780 hits so far, has scored 934 runs, has 401 doubles, has 22 triples, 270 long balls, 1,013 RBIs, has a batting average of 279 and an on-base percentage of 343. He is a two-time All-Star, has 2 Silver Sluggers, and a Gold Glove. The thing is with Zimmerman, he always has been a gnat. Washington really, with open arms, brought him in as the guy who was going to help build this organization. He started as a third baseman, made the transition to first base because of his wrist and elbow, and the fact they have Anthony Rendon now over there. So that's not a bad problem to have. But Zimmerman has always been a team-first guy, but he's also been a community guy, and he's been someone that the Nationals are really proud to have. And as a guy who grew up in D.C., he's a guy that I'd want, like, if I was still living there every day, that I'd want my kids to grow up seeing, how he does, his work and things like that. So, I always have the utmost respect for Ryan Zimmerman. I think he's a really good person. I think he's a really good baseball player to model yourself from. So I like Zimmerman here. My honorable mentions for the Expos/Nationals, Andre Dawson. He was probably the hardest one to leave off this list. He probably could have bumped out Vladimir Guerrero. Again, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be on this list. He probably deserves to be on it more than Vlad, but I thought Vlad really saved Montreal baseball there for a little while. So did Pedro and Randy Johnson. They were all Expos at one point. Really weird. Really weird if you think about that. A guy who many people may have on their list that I don't think deserves to be on the National Mount Rushmore, that is Bryce Harper. I don't think Harper did enough as a National, and I think when it's all said and done, because of the amount of years he's going to play in Philadelphia, he has a better shot of being at the Phillies Mount Rushmore than the Nationals Mount Rushmore ever. Livan Hernandez, a guy who does not get credit for what he did in D.C. As a member of that starting rotation, was a good piece for them for a really long time. Doesn't get the credit he deserves because his win-loss record doesn't prove it. That doesn't mean anything to me. Win-losses, yes, it's what you grade a pitcher on, but I feel like he did a lot to save some young arms in that starting rotation early in their run when they were really, really bad. So I don't think Livan gets the credit he deserves. And then 2 guys that are currently playing for the Nationals that could bump Vladimir Guerrero as well. That is Max Scherzer. Had a rough start tonight against Philly, but the Nationals got the win in that game. And then finally Trey Turner, Trigger Trey, the shortstop. I think he's going to have a really, really fun career. And another guy that could get on this list if he stays in D.C., that is Anthony Rendon, who could be a contract extension guy in the offseason. That is been the Mount Rushmore of the DMV. For the Orioles, it is Jim Palmer, Eddie Murray, Brooks Robinson, and Cal Ripken Jr. For the Nationals/Expos, it is Gary Carter, Ryan Zimmerman, Tim Raines, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So next, when you see me, I don't know what video I'm going to record next. It may be the Mount Rushmore of the Diamondbacks and the Twins. That's going to be a fun one. I've had some fun with that one, including my honorable mention for the Minnesota Twins. There's a couple people out there in the world that'll laugh whenever I announce who they are. But we're not going to spoil that right now because that's not what I do here. Like I said in the Week 3 NFL review, if you haven't watched that, you can go back and watch that. Some stuff that happened. We had some corruption on some videos we lost. We are re-reporting some. Some of them we're just going to let die. Coming up on Thursdays, it's going to be my NXT versus AEW takes. Once that starts, some fun stuff. We're going to hopefully do the first ever Fat Kid Certified Sports Entertainment Awards, where we're going to do the MVPs of AL, NL, Cy Young, etc., all the fun stuff. But that has been the Mount Rushmore for the Orioles and the Nationals. I'm going to go eat some cookies because I'm fat, and this water isn't getting the job done, so I probably need something more in my system. So I need you guys to leave my table because I'm going to go eat, so let's eat.